Hey there, this is Russell Clay. I am your host. This is the FanDuel Punch Out. And we're looking at a nice 10-game slate here. We're looking at some decent pitchers. Max Scherzer, obviously, in a tough matchup. So that's going to be the elephant in the room today. But other than that, interesting slate to break down for sure. There's some values. There's some high priced options that I think we should really look at paying up for, and I think there's some reasonable punt sort of pitchers that you can make your move with. So interesting ways to go today, and I think tournaments are definitely a solid option. In that same vein, check out our pitcher pod to see who I suggested for pitching, and as well as maybe who to target for stacking. We'll go over that here, however. But anyway, Buster Posey, not a perfect matchup against Chase Anderson because my boy Chase Anderson is a monster. Monster. Not really a monster, but he's been holding it down. He hasn't been allowing a lot of hits over the last 5 starts or so. He's keeping it below 5 or 6 total hits on the game, not allowing a lot of runs, not striking out a ton of people, but against this Giants offense, you weren't really looking to get high strikeout totals anyway. So Posey, decent option, not great. I think that kind of neutralizes them. Lucroy against Matt Cain. I like the Brewers as an expensive stack today. I think they have some considerable upside for sure. Stephen Vaught or Fegley, however you pronounce that, if that's F or PH or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. So Stephen Vaught or Fegley, you're looking at them. You're looking at Wellington Castillo, 2,900, super strong value against the Dodgers. So I do like that. Chris Herman, if he's in the lineup for Castillo, I think they're both in that same range. So you kind of look at either one, whoever's in. Tyler Flowers, 2,400 with Fegley. So whoever starts there, that's kind of who you're looking at for a punt. And below that, I mean, I don't really think you're looking too far below that. Carlos Perez has been getting at bats, and he's been in the lineup. So if you're really looking to truly dive down, that might be a guy to exploit. But other than that, that's kind of what you're looking at first. Obviously, Victor Martinez always in play as catcher. On to first. Goldschmidt. Highest price guy, should be the highest price guy. I like that. Fits in perfect. 4,400. Get your Diamondback stacks ready because they're coming. I like that matchup, and I think we're going to go right at them. So that's kind of what we're looking at there. Obviously, we're talking about Mike Bolsinger. I really like Segura. I really like Goldschmidt. I think this is a nice night to really target them. Will Myers, solid play, expensive but worth it. Anthony Rizzo, not touching him against Scherzer, even though it is a tough matchup for Scherzer. Rizzo strikes out quite a bit, so you're kind of looking at maybe a over 3 or 1 for 4 day. Encarnacion, absolutely on fire of late. Kind of keep rolling with the Blue Jays there. You like that matchup for sure against Eichhoff. So that's what you're rolling with there. Chris Carter always has home run power. Not loving his chances tonight at San Francisco, but you kind of just play that how it is. Sure, punt tournament option, but nothing really more than a tournament guy. Miguel Cabrera, 3,500. Sure, let's do it. I'm in. He kind of takes a lot of those guys in that range out of play for me. Obviously, like Votto, Jose Abreu's been kind of struggling this year. He's been turning it around a little bit late. So him and Napoli both in play, but I do like Cabrera to them. Justin Smoke, if he's in the lineup over Encarnacion, or if you want to just go over Encarnacion and be super weird, you can do that. I'm okay with it. I think Encarnacion's a much stronger play, but for the price reduction and still getting Blue Jays bats in there, I do like that. And that's pretty much it for first. Tommy Joseph, 2,800, a much better value on here than he is on FanDuel. So keep that in mind. or DraftKings, I mean. You know what I mean. You know what I mean, people. You know what I mean. If you don't know what I mean, then I'm sorry, because that was really confusing what I just said. Ian Kinsler been just bombing the ball of late. I like him more than Murphy tonight, just like on DraftKings. You don't like Zobrist against Scherzer, pass right over him. You do like Murphy, but just not. He's not in the same tier as Kinsler right now, in terms of matchup and how they've been hitting lately. So you kind of look at that. Brandon Phillips against Blair, sure, throw him in. Cheap way to get Reds exposure. I like that. Kipnis, I do like that. Odor, he's solid, but I'd rather go Profar at 3K, save the 200 and get basically the same player. In terms of hitting, obviously they're not the same player, but you know what I mean. Gene Segura 2,900, probably the guy I like the most in this whole range, and he's the cheapest. So that's kind of my cash play tonight. Segura, Goldschmidt, and figure out the rest of your lineup. Johnny Giavotella, love that name, 2,400 against Nolasco tonight. If the wheels start coming off, the end of that Angels lineup has a lot of potential, so I do like that quite a bit. Only 2,400, solid deal. There we go. Sign me up. Josh Donaldson, yes. Josh Donaldson, yes. Josh Donaldson, yes. Yes. Good matchup against Eichhoff. 4,200. Obviously been hitting with power. Obviously is a power hitter. He's just been awesome of late, and I expect that to continue for the rest of the year, because that's what Josh Donaldson does. You obviously like him over Chris Bryant tonight as the top guy. Bryant, tough matchup with Scherzer, so you're just not touching him. Martin Prado, 3,300, not bad. I don't mind that price against Manea, so kind of rolling with that there. I like that quite a bit. Castellanos in that same vein, going against James Shields, a guy who's in his first start against a tough offense. So wheels could come off there. But the biggest value is easily Danny Valencia. You got to like that matchup against Ramos, and you have to like 3,300. That's a great value there. So that's definitely what you're looking at. Eugenio Suarez, 2,900 against Blair. That's a really solid value there. So that's what we're looking at there. And then obviously Hernan, 2,100. So there you go. That is plus for price and value. So that's what you're looking at there. Corey Seager, not in on him against Greinke. Can't do it. I don't think that's something you should be pursuing. 3,700, too rich for my blood. That's for sure. Lindor, 3,500, sure, but this is probably a place I'm paying down at. Villar, Cozart, really solid options, 3,200. If I can get in that range, that's fine with me. Javier Baez, you want to play him most nights, and you've done well, but you can't play him tonight against Scherzer. It's just not in play. You just keep moving past. Get right past there to superstar Gregorio Petit against Nolasco. 2,500, as I mentioned with Giavotella, you're kind of looking at the end of that Angels lineup if Nolasco starts to blow up there. So Trout might not be in the lineup. People might be moving up a spot or two. So you definitely like that for Petit. Obviously going to be hitting later in the order, but he's been solid and been returning pretty solid returns on those late spots in the order. So that's kind of what you're looking at there from him. Outfield, Batista, it'll be a good question if he's in the lineup. Same with Trout. So you're kind of looking at those two top guys. If Batista is back, then he is a very high-end play along with Donaldson and Encarnacion. I like all three. I think they're a great stack tonight, which I don't like stacking those top three because it's usually one or two of them and not all three. But I do like them. Going down, I mean, you love JD Martinez at 4K. I think that's a great matchup against Shields. So you kind of looking at that there. But I think there's easier ways to go about this. Adam Duvall, 3,400, obviously has that home run power this year, 17 home runs. So you're liking that against Blair. That could be a major matchup to exploit. So only 3,400. You look at the guys around him, there's no one even close to sort of what he's done this year. You do like Robbie Grossman at 3,400 as well, but he's not in the same type of tier. I think Duvall is borderline cash for me. So that's what you're looking at there. Mazzara 3,200. You gotta love that. Not a amazing matchup, but he has so much power and obviously has been hitting for average as well this year. So that's kind of what you're looking at there. Matt Kemp 3K. I like that. Not priced up like he is on DK, so I'm rolling with him. 3K is super cheap for a guy batting third and hitting well of late. So looking at that, Cameron Maben not batting 400 anymore, so he's slowly drifting away from my lineups completely. Coco Crisp, loved him as a value yesterday, kind of failed, but I'm loving him again today. 2,900, toss it in. I'm in. Ichiro, if he's in the lineup and not just pinch hitting, you love him at 2,800. So we're definitely rolling there. Batting 336 on the year, just crushing it, 2 hits a game. So you gotta love that. Gotta love that. And then going down, I mean, I would love Brandon Drury to be in the lineup, but it doesn't look like he's going to be. 2,400. Below that, though, I mean, not really much. I think we want to stick in that 35. You really want to hit up Duvall today. I really love that play. 3,400 against Blair in Atlanta. That's a great matchup for him. So anyway, that was the FanDuel Punch Out. Thanks for tuning in, and hopefully we win some tournaments tonight, guys. And don't be afraid to screenshot us in the morning if you listen to the pods or read the articles and then you hit something. So don't be afraid to let us know when you win. So anyway, this was the FanDuel Punch Out. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, head over to Daily Fantasy Cafe for all our great tools and content.